My name's George, I'm 32, and up until a few weeks ago, I was just a regular guy. Software engineer by trade, bit of a music geek, decent at cooking, terrible at folding laundry. I lived a quiet life with my fiancée Emily, the woman I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. We'd been together for almost 4 years. She had this way of lighting up a room, not in a dramatic way, more like soft glow-string lights. Warm, charming, and just bright enough to make you feel safe. That morning started like any other. Emily had run out to do some last-minute shopping for our engagement party. I was home alone, making coffee and trying to remember if I'd RSVP'd to her cousin's wedding. And then it happened. Her phone buzzed. It was sitting on the kitchen counter next to the fruit bowl. I glanced at it, more out of habit than anything. One missed call. Then a voicemail notification. The screen lit up. Unknown number. Normally I wouldn't touch it. I respect people's privacy. I really do. But something just itched. You know that gut feeling? The kind you can't explain, but can't ignore either? So I tapped it. Voicemail opened. And I heard his voice. Last night was perfect. He has no idea. I can't wait to see you again. My breath caught. I actually thought the phone had glitched. I replayed it. He has no idea. That was me. I stood there in the kitchen, phone still in my hand, coffee growing cold behind me, wondering how many other voicemails I'd never heard. The voice wasn't familiar. It wasn't one of her co-workers, not her friends, not anyone I'd met. Just a guy. Comfortable. Intimate. Like this wasn't the first message, and definitely not going to be the last. I could have deleted it. Could have confronted her right then. Could have screamed, thrown something, gone full soap opera. But I didn't. Instead, I hit save. And I emailed the voicemail to myself. No one ever talks about the moment you find out. Like the actual second the lie unravels. It's not loud. It's not even immediate rage. It's quiet. Hollow. Like your body is buffering reality, while your mind's trying to figure out if you just misunderstood something. I placed her phone back exactly where it was. Screen down. Like I hadn't touched it. I poured myself that cold coffee, sat down at the kitchen table, and whispered, "Okay, Emily, let's play this out." That morning, I didn't lose my fiancé. I found the truth. And that was way more valuable. You ever watch someone lie to your face while smiling? Not just a white lie, like, "No, I didn't eat your leftovers." I mean a full performance, Oscar-worthy type of lie. The kind that dances off their lips with perfect timing, practiced charm, and just enough sparkle in the eyes to distract you from the knife they're twisting behind their back. That was Emily now. She strolled into the apartment like nothing happened. Her keys hit the counter, followed by a paper shopping bag and that annoyingly perfect laugh of hers. "I found the exact shoes I was looking for," she said, kicking off her heels. "And the boutique gave me a discount for mentioning the wedding. Isn't that cute?" I looked up from my laptop, smiled like I wasn't replaying a stranger's voice in my head. "Last night was perfect. He has no idea." "Oh yeah," I said casually. "Sounds like a great deal." She kept talking, about cake tastings, seating charts, her cousin Maddie's new boyfriend, and how he'd need to be added to the guest list. I nodded, listened, asked the right questions at the right times. But inside, I wasn't listening. I was measuring, calculating how long it would take for the truth to fold in on itself. I became hyper-aware of everything. The way she turned her phone screen away when she typed, the strange new contacts in her recent calls, the late-night showers, the sudden work dinners. I even started taking notes, mentally, then literally. Dates, times, excuses. A spreadsheet named Guest List Draft 3 hid a tab called Observation Log. She laughed with me. She planned with me. She kissed me goodnight. And I kissed her back. But in my mind, I wasn't her fiancé anymore. I wasn't building a life with her. I was building a case. One night, her best friend Claire came over with champagne and a bridal magazine the size of a phone book. They talked color palettes and lace trims while I made dinner. Every so often, Claire would look at me and smile. "You've got yourself a keeper, Em. He's so calm, like totally grounded." Emily reached over the couch and touched my arm. "He's the best." Honestly, I don't know how I got so lucky. I held her hand, looked her in the eyes. I almost believed her. Almost. But my grip never tightened. I didn't flinch. Because while Claire toasted to forever, I was already planning the exit. Even my friends had no clue. Dylan, my college roommate, saw the ring and just shook his head, impressed. Damn, George. This is serious. She's the one, huh? I smirked. Yeah, she's something. You're gonna make a great husband, man. I nodded. That's the plan. And it was just not the plan anyone thought I was following. The truth is, I was letting her write her own ending. Letting her walk confidently into the version of herself she thought I couldn't see. She wanted center stage? Fine. I handed her the spotlight. But what she didn't realize was, I was the one holding the curtain rope. And when the moment came to pull it down, I'd do it without raising my voice. Just with facts. Cold, undeniable, time-stamped facts. You know how people say, the calm before the storm? That was me, walking into our engagement party with Sophie on my arm. Emily had spent weeks planning this thing. Rooftop venue, custom floral arrangements, gold-rimmed champagne glasses. Everything carefully curated to show the world we were perfect. What she didn't plan for was Sophie. Sophie wasn't just beautiful. She was precise, observant. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and immediately clock everyone's motives, weaknesses, and alliances. And importantly, she was my friend, nothing more, nothing less. But to Emily, she was a crack in the glass. When we entered, all eyes turned. Emily was mid-laugh with her cousin when she saw us. Her smile twitched, just slightly, but I caught it. She walked over, holding a glass of champagne. That party hostess energy dialed up to 10. George, you didn't tell me you were bringing someone. I smiled. Didn't I? Must have slipped my mind. Emily, meet Sophie. We went to grad school together. Sophie stepped forward with grace. It's so nice to meet you, Emily. Everything looks beautiful. Emily's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Thanks. We put a lot of time into it. She emphasized we. Cute. Well, Sophie said, tilting her head politely. It definitely feels like a woman's touch. Emily's grip on her champagne glass tightened just slightly. Are you and George? She asked, eyes flicking between us. Just old friends, Sophie said smoothly. But we've shared a lot of stories. That part was true. Sophie knew everything. Later in the evening, while Sophie was talking with a few guests near the bar, I overheard Emily whispering to Leah. She's intimidating. Did you see the way everyone looked when she walked in? Yeah, Leah said. And she hasn't left George's side. I don't care if they're friends. Who does that at their own engagement party? I stepped in, acting like I hadn't heard a thing. Hey, everyone having fun? Emily turned quickly. Of course. We were just saying how great everything looks. I nodded. Sophie agrees. She's impressed. So, how long has she been back in your life? Emily asked, trying too hard to sound casual. We've always kept in touch, I replied. Not everything that matters is loud. She blinked, clearly unsure what to make of that. Sophie found me by the balcony a while later, wine in hand. She's spinning, she said quietly. Not enough to blow, but enough to show. Let her spin, I said. The storm hasn't started yet. You're sure you want to go through with all of this? I looked down at the ring on my hand. I didn't make the lie. I just decided not to live in it. She nodded. Then I'll keep watching. Near the end of the night, Emily pulled me aside. George, I don't want to ruin the vibe, but this was supposed to be our night. It still is. It doesn't feel like it. You brought someone you never told me about. And now everyone's talking. You're worried about everyone else, Em. But you haven't looked me in the eye once tonight. She looked away. What's going on? She asked, her voice small. Nothing. Just celebrating. With her? I stared at her for a second. With everyone. But mostly, with clarity. As Sophie and I left the venue, she leaned in and whispered. She's scared. But not of losing you, of being exposed. Let her be. Tonight was a dress rehearsal, I said, pulling open the car door. For what? She asked. For the part where I stopped pretending I didn't know. There's this moment, right before you grab the mic, when your whole body goes silent. Not nervous, not shaky, just still. That was me. The room was buzzing. Laughter, champagne clinks, camera flashes. Emily was glowing in her white satin dress, surrounded by friends and family. It was everything she wanted, everything she'd carefully crafted. And I was about to unravel it. I tapped my glass with a fork. Soft at first, then sharper. Ding, ding, ding. Everyone turned. "If I could have your attention for just a minute," I began, my voice calm. "I know this night is about celebration, joy, love, and I'm supposed to stand here and talk about how lucky I am to be marrying the woman of my dreams." I glanced at Emily. She smiled, almost relieved, like maybe this was the speech she was hoping for. I took a deep breath, and I would love nothing more than to do that. But before I talk about the future, I think it's only fair that we all listen to a little piece of the past. The screen behind me lit up. People turned toward it, confused. I pulled out my phone, pressed play, and there it was. "Last night was perfect. He has no idea. I can't wait to see you again." The room froze. A few gasps, murmurs. Someone actually dropped a glass. I didn't look at Emily yet. I just let the message finish. When it ended, I turned. Her face was pale, eyes full. "George," she whispered, "please. Don't do this. Not here." I stared at her, calm, collected. "I'm not doing anything, Emily. That was you." I just turned the volume up. The silence was suffocating. People were staring, some shocked, some awkwardly sipping champagne, like it could erase what they'd just heard. Emily took a step toward me. "We can talk about this. Privately." "Privately?" I raised an eyebrow. "You made it public the second you whispered lies into someone else's voicemail." She opened her mouth, and nothing came out. I held the mic for a moment longer, then gently placed it down. The song playing in the background skipped once, then cut off completely, like even the speakers were embarrassed. I looked around the room, smiled faintly, and said, "Enjoy the party. I'm done pretending." Then I turned, walked past Sophie near the door, and we left. That night wasn't about revenge. It was about clarity. And sometimes, the truth doesn't need a punchline, just a microphone. They say closure is a conversation. But honestly, sometimes it's just a choice. A week after the engagement party, or, I guess, the breakup party, I moved out. Not in a rush. Not out of anger. Just calm, like I'd finally stopped holding my breath. Emily tried to call. Once. Left a voicemail. "George, I didn't mean for it to happen like this. We should talk." I didn't listen to the rest. I just deleted it. The thing is, I didn't need an apology. I didn't need a story. I needed peace. And that doesn't come from someone else's guilt. It comes from walking away and not looking back. A few months later, I'm sitting in a sunlit cafe downtown, flipping through emails on my laptop. Sophie walks in, 2 coffees in hand. "Still black with 1 sugar, right?" she asks with a smile. "Some things don't change," I grin, taking the cup. "We're not dating. Not yet. But there's this unspoken understanding between us now. Maybe that's what healing looks like. Quiet, steady, and unexpected." I scroll to an email. An invite. Emily Marlowe has a new business launch. A jewelry line. Glossy branding, pretty font, inspirational quotes about new beginnings. I close the tab. Later that week, I find myself walking into a networking event. Big company, clean glass walls, echoing footsteps. I'm here for a consulting opportunity. As I follow the host toward the conference room, we pass by the customer service department. Low cubicles, fluorescent lighting. And there he is, sitting behind a monitor, headset on, answering a call with forced cheer. The guy from the voicemail. The voice that shattered the fantasy. He doesn't see me at first, but I stop for just a second, long enough for him to look up. Our eyes meet. His face twitches in recognition. He blinks like he's trying to remember where he knows me from. I smile. Not smug. Not angry. Just peaceful. Then I turn and keep walking. Because closure isn't revenge. It isn't drama. It's seeing what once hurt you, and realizing it doesn't anymore. Sometimes the best payback is simply being unbothered.